Good evening, everyone. This is the Traffic and Transportation Committee meeting. You're recording.
We are.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's my view.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I did.
Gotcha.
Because I made that mistake before. This is the Traffic and Transportation Committee meeting at Community Board 8. And we're happy to see that people are here and engaged and ready for our meeting. I'm Debbie Allen. I'm the Traffic and Transportation Chair. And Vice Chair.
Bob Bender.
Sylvia.
Sylvia Alexander.
Sylvia is participating via Zoom, and she has ADA, so she's able to do that. We want to just make sure that everyone that is from the community that has logged in, we're going to be also recording your first and last name for our minutes. And also, if you have any questions, we will have the questions will first be here in the office with the committee members first to answer any questions or concerns to any agencies. And then from there, we will have the community ask any questions or concerns last. And each person will have approximately 2 minutes to speak. We have a full agenda this evening, and we just want to make sure we really review everything that we have before us. And we also have a lot of correspondence from different agencies who have responded to Community Board 8. So we've done roll call. Absent today is Ingrid Young and Deborah Harris. Just for the minutes. Next on the agenda is the minutes from March and April. Anyone has any questions about the minutes?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment.
Sure.
The April minutes, which I took, on page 3, I misidentified somebody. I'll send this to you in an email, but it named somebody as a resident of 3215 Netherland Avenue, who in fact was not a resident. I got the wrong name. So we'll just take out the name and it will say a resident of 3215 Netherland Avenue.
Okay.
Accurate enough. Okay, I'll send that to you. So, we can correct the minute.
Motion to.
Oh, yes. Motion to approve the
As amended.
minutes as amended. Right, and second. That's April.
Any other corrections, amendments? How about for the March 12th, 2026 minutes?
Well, if there are no comments, I'll make a motion to approve.
Sylvia?
Yes.
Hi, we're voting on the minutes. Any?
Oh, yes.
Motion to approve?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Minutes are approved. Okay, so let's move on next on the agenda, which is what's next on the agenda?
SAFO is the next on the agenda.
Okay, SAFO is Street Lab present?
Yes, I think.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Excellent. Okay, so can you please present what's your name and your organization?
Yes, absolutely. So, hi, Bronx Community Board 8. Thank you so much for having us tonight. My name is Jim. I am community planner at Street Lab. Street Lab, we're a nonprofit that does pop-up programming around the city, activating public spaces, so school, streets, parks, and plazas. And the work that I lead at Street Lab is helping new groups joining the Open Streets program, and activating their open street, all the logistics of getting it started, and then helping them kind of sustain and be able to, keep that going. We recently had a program started with the mayor's office, DOT, New York City Public Schools, to bring soccer to streets around the city, all throughout the months of May and June leading up to the World Cup. And so PS24, a new Open Streets partner, connected with us to bring soccer on June 3rd, 2026. I met with Principal Schwartz and their team to discuss logistics and everything. And I know this one's a little unusual because they actually their open street is on 236. But the school requested that for programming that we do the street closure on 235th south of their building, just because they figured it would be a little bit easier to close during the school day and better for programming, whereas 236 they're really using for arrival and dismissal. So that might have raised some eyebrows. But the school is really excited. We have staff and gear and everything that'll come on our truck day of, help support the school, close the street, and then run programming with students. And then at the end of the day, pack it up like we were never there, and head back to our warehouse. And so, yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions about this closure, or the Soccer Streets program in general. I can also share links and everything to our website and some pictures from our first few activations as well.
Okay. So, I do have a question. Your application says June 3rd. So
Correct.
what date is the actual program?
Oh, it's on June 3rd.
Okay, because it says here set up June 17th.
That might be a typo, because the program is confirmed for June 3rd. I know with SAPO sometimes we have issues putting in dates. And so I wonder if that might have been the reason. Or maybe the site plan or the run of show, sorry, may have a typo, but the event is June 3rd. And so setup and breakdown would be on June 3rd.
Okay, so it's definitely June 3rd. And the second question that I have was, there's no amplified sound at all?
No, I mean, we don't like bring, any speakers or play music or anything. I mean, there will be laughter and joyous noise from the children out there, but no, we don't like play music or anything. So there shouldn't be any amplified sound.
Okay. And you have a prop, question number 18. Will the event employ a prop? So you have a freestanding, what is the freestanding object?
Yeah, so like one of the things that we bring is like an obstacle course it's about waist high, it's built out of wood, and it's easily movable and transferable. So the SAPO application is always, it has a few questions that like we kind of fall underneath. So we always answer that one just in case there's a flag is raised. But no, it's just part of the gear that we bring for the kids to interact with, and it's not higher than waist high.
And signage. You're gonna have signage so people in the
Yes.
neighborhood know that.
So the school is going to help us put up no parking signs, and they're sending out flyers to their families ahead of the event.
I just had a question. Really excited that Street Lab is coming to CD8. Love Street Lab. You guys do awesome things. And I was wondering if you are partnering with any other local community organizations, or is it primarily with the school and DOT?
Yeah, so for now, the initiative is with schools through the end of the school year, but the soccer program will live on. And actually, we're now starting to take requests for the summer as well. So during the summer, we do play streets, other open streets, and work with all sorts of community organizations. So if you have any interested partners or potential locations that you think would be great for this, or any other sort of open street programming, please reach out and let us know. We'd be happy to continue the conversation.
Great, thanks.
Sylvia has her hand up.
Sylvia, you have your hand raised?
Yes, I do. I wanted to ask whether on 235th Street, this is going to be set up by the library because people will want to go to the library. Will they be able to do that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we spoke with Principal Schwartz. The programming itself is going to actually happen further down 235th, about where the school building is. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up a barrier up at the end of the block, but allow traffic to come in to the library and the park as needed. I believe there's a turnaround there, or a way that they can come in and out. So it's kind of like a partial closure just to let people know that the block further down the block is closed, and we'll have signage up. But then if anyone needs to access the library, they should be able to still access the library. We were talking about that kind of nuance a little bit.
Okay, and what are the hours that the street will be closed?
Let me just double check. Our programming, I believe, is from let me see here. I believe our programming with the school is yeah, sorry.
Your application says from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah, so we just put for the whole school day for the actual closure, but it'll probably be more likely closer to the programming, which I believe like 10 to 1. So we usually get there around like 9 or so to set up, and then when we're done breaking down about 30 minutes after the event. So even though we put 8 to 4, we just do that to be safe. It'll actually probably be a little bit more of a reduced hours.
In terms of the third is the first day that you're setting it up, and the children will be able to use whatever it is that you set up. How many days a week are you going to be there?
We're just coming to PS24 just this one day, the third. I know they're going to have their open street other days, but our program it has a goal of hitting 50 schools before the end of the school year. So every day we're at a different school around the city, all 5 boroughs,
I see.
prioritizing the outer boroughs, and schools and locations that really want and need this additional space and programming, as well as new open street partners who are just getting started.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. But, would love, like I said, really happy to meet you all and would love to be able to do more work in CB8. So if you have any other great locations, we do all our work at request. So please send them our way.
Sounds good.
You're going to be there for the entire school day. So how is this going to work? Are you going to have certain grades come out at certain times and then stagger it throughout the course of the day?
Yeah, yep. So we talked about with Principal Schwartz and PS24, they're going to do it around their recess time. So for each lunch period, about half the kids will eat lunch, half the kids will come play recess, and then they'll switch, just like they would for normal recess in their yard.
So, but over the course of the day, you expect that every child in the school will participate or will have an opportunity to participate?
Yes. And actually, I'm just now looking back at my notes. We said that we're actually not going to do lunch. That's what we're doing at most schools. We're going to do 3 one-hour sessions. Well, teachers were going to come down with their classes, and be able to play. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And just one note, I misspoke on the timing before. We are going to be outside with the students from 8:30 to 11:30. So we'll set up at 8 and then we'll be done by noon.
Oh, wow, okay.
And let's say it starts raining outside. Is there a rain date?
Oh man, this is the hardest part of this program. I feel so bad because since we are fully booked, we can't offer rain dates. But what we've been telling schools is if we do get that rain, in the unfortunate occurrence that we do get rain, they will be first in our queue to just run this again, because the soccer program will now live on. I mean, we were funded to do these first 50 days, but if we get rained out, and we can't squeeze it in this spring, they'll be first on our list for next fall.
Anybody from the public have a question for Street Lab? I see no raised hands. Any other questions from the committee? We ready to?
Yeah, I was just gonna, go ahead.
Yeah, one other thing I just wanted to note. Great, thank you. Sorry, just one other thing I wanted to note and ask you all. I guess it sounds like that their yard might be closing next year. I don't know if you've heard about this. And I know they are just getting started with their open street, but it sounds like there may be opportunities for additional programming in the future. So definitely looking forward to building a partnership here and seeing where it can grow.
Okay. Motion to approve. Motion to approve. Second.
Mhm.
There's only three.
Well, and Sylvia,
Okay. So ready to vote?
mhm.
Aye. And
In
any
favor.
ayes? So your simple application has been approved by Traffic and Transportation Committee, and we will present the resolution to the full board in June.
Great.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Wait a second, we have a logistical problem here. Your event is June 3rd, right?
Yes.
So we'll write a letter.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have to do
so
a letter.
we'll write a
Committee
letter,
letter,
a
right.
letter saying that the committee approved
Right.
and then our district manager and our chairperson will
Mhm.
forward it.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, because a full board meeting will take place after the event.
Oh, right. Yeah.
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 It's
Yeah.
no issue.
Yeah, right, you'll still get the approval of the committee and then the
Yeah.
committee board's district manager will send that to
Will send.
DOT and
Great.
whoever else has to go.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much.
And the person on the application is
Dekendra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dekendra
Denzel?
Dazzle.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's our program manager. So we work closely together. So I'll let her
Okay,
know as
all
well,
right,
too.
so, all right, okay, thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Okay. have a good
Come out
evening.
June 3rd if you want to see us out in the street.
I may, okay.
All right. Great. Take care.
All right, is there a representative from Kingsbridge Day Block Party? That would be, no? No. No. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. Is there any representative from Kingsbridge Day Block Party? No. All right, so we're gonna go on next to
So
our,
let me just say, their event is in August.
so they have time.
So there's plenty of time. And I know that Farrah's been in communication, with somebody representing you. Let's see what happens.
So we'll just put this one to the side right now.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna move on to our budget priorities.
Mm.
And I know I've made a couple of changes because, there's been different community members that have sent us, additional requests. And it's probably easy to start with the capital budget project priorities first and starting probably at the last page. A lot of them, is pavement. One of the requests was resurfacing and paving road at 3900 and 3902 Manhattan College Parkway. They had a request
Mhm.
for paving, so I add that on as a budget capital request.
Mhm.
Also, resurfacing West 230th Street between Broadway and Irwin was also another request, so I added that in. That wasn't on there before. And also adding on, Bradley Terrace, John J. McKelvey Senior Step Street. That's new. And there was also, I think that is it for the add-ons. Because the rest are just,
Yeah, I think they were on there
Streets.
before.
they were on there before. Question? Anybody with a question? Sylvia, you have any questions with the additions? Because these were just last minute.
No, I don't.
Requests from community members, and it's basically the resurfacing has been added on. Somebody knocking?
No,
Okay.
we've heard that before, there's some kind of construction going on one or the other.
That's the only thing that's new. And just for the public to know, even though we have these different capital budget priorities requests, it still it goes before another committee, and more than likely based on finances and so on and so forth, it may not necessarily be approved, even though we see it as a needed priority based on community feedback. Kelvin, you have your hand up? Can you unmute yourself?
My name is Kelvin Havor, and I'm a student who lives in the Bronx, and I'm a senior at New Explorations into Science, Technology, and Math. So right now we are currently doing a year-long project about fixing an issue in our New York City community. And I believe like Riverdale sidewalks and roads are an issue that are currently being overlooked and somewhat ignored. So um one of my partners lives in Riverdale's, and there are many sidewalks in the areas that he feels are unsafe and are like damaged by like tree roots. And research shows that injuries from sidewalk accidents happens very frequently, especially among like older folks. And these risks increase when repairs are constantly being delayed and overlooked. And we feel like the issue is that they're being overlooked and put on like year-long wait lists and not getting the stronger funding and oversight that they need to improve the community. And I think better conditions between state and city agencies could help prevent injuries of like many people in our community.
Thank you, and we totally agree. And one of the ways you can help us is if you call 311, if you notice that there's a sidewalk or a street that's in disrepair, and when you call 311 with that information and you get a number from 311, if you could just email the board office with that 311 number, and we will try to follow it up. Because we do recognize that we have a lot of potholes, a lot of streets in disrepair. Unfortunately, sidewalks may not necessarily be DOT or the city. It may fall under the person that owns the property, but we'll still be willing to look into evaluate that. Do you have our email address? And I'm just
I
going
do
to give
not.
it. Our email address here at the board office at Community Board 8 is bx08 at cv.nyc.gov.
08.
The email.
Okay.
Right? So, thank you for bringing this to our attention, but we are aware, and we're always in contact with city agencies to try to get things fixed and expedited as quickly as possible. Anything else, Calvin?
I just wanted like to stop by and then bring this to attention. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great
I
evening.
was gonna say that like what we're talking about tonight is specific intersections or specific streets or specific step streets. So if you have a part of the district that you want to advocate for, you can also email that email address, and maybe it's as a part of the 2028 capital budget priorities, or perhaps it's next year as well. So just keep in mind that if there are specific areas that you want to advocate for, like you mentioned, this is going to be a special project you all take on, the more specific you can be, like maybe a stretch of, like here we're talking about 230th between Broadway and Irwin. We talk about other corridors or other intersections or things like that. The more specific you can be about areas that you really want to be fixed right away, I mean, that's a good way to get started too.
Okay.
So
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Jacqueline Johnson, you have your hand up?
Yes, I apologize. I just signed on because I just saw in my email that you're meeting tonight. I just want to piggyback on what Calvin Haver just mentioned. Could you please repeat the email address? Because I have a pothole that I've been calling in about at least over the last 2 years because it's gotten larger since the snowstorm. And the second concern I have is for the cross street I'm at, which is Spencer and West 261st Street. It's about 2 blocks from Broadway. It's at the northernmost part of Riverdale. And there have been quite a number of vehicular type of incidents, some accidents in this area. One was a car flipping over on its hood. It was a stolen car. And during the summer, there's a lot of speeding going through here. More recently, 2 days ago, I happened to look out the window and there was almost an accident at the cross street of Spencer and 261st, which is also a bus stop, a school bus stop for 2 different schools. And the children actually wait right in front of my house. It's a corner house. And the accident almost occurred at 261st and Spencer, right where Spencer Avenue is. People tend to ignore going from west 261st going towards east. I got the directions right. They're going towards Broadway. They're going from Riverdale Avenue towards Broadway. And that intersection, there have been at least 3 accidents that I've observed. This was an almost accident early in the morning, about 8:15. So I called in and I reported it, and I have a number. I think I'd have to look for the number. I think I wrote it down, but I need to email that in to you because that's a major concern since it's a bus stop for at least 2 different schools.
Because I know our district manager, Sarah, has been, engaged with DOT and also with NTA, because I'm just trying to pull up her report and see if that was one of the streets. Because I know that there was, issues on 261st Street. The DOT representatives are willing to evaluate West 261st Street to West 263rd Street Broadway to study if additional street signals are needed to improve safety pedestrians.
Yes.
So that is on our radar. They're doing the study, and the study's not going to end until June. So they are studying that piece of Broadway and
Yeah.
So that is on our radar, and that is being studied.
All right, because my on Spencer Avenue, the cross street is a dead end. So I get in the past, not so much now. There are a lot of cars that are parked here, a number of cars that are stolen. And just last month, I heard this noise about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't bother to look out the window. I didn't want to see anything going on. And the next morning when I was opening up my curtains, this man's 4 tires had been completely stolen off his car. So there's a lot of, well, I can't say a lot, but there's criminal activity going on. 3 years ago, it was my neighbor. They came to try to steal, his alarm went off, but they were trying to steal that copper thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a blind area. So it seems to get missed because of the dead end street. And it's only 2 blocks from Broadway.
Our safety committee chair, Mr. Green, is aware and is always engaged with the 50th precinct about, missing, stolen cars and all sorts of other issues. So, I'll make sure to also just reiterate what you said. But we do have a DOT is evaluating that area, and also DOT is also doing a study on West 254th Street and Riverdale Avenue for a turning light there. So that's also being being investigated and being studied, and that study is due to begin in July.
Can I just add, they at some point, I think in the last year, there was a sign posted on this corner at Spencer and West 261st saying that there was a camera, traffic camera. I don't see a camera. All I see is the sign. And I think if there were a camera, it would capture a lot of it would have captured that car flipping over on the hood right in front of my house. And it would capture these people who come speeding through here or completely ignore that is the car that almost hit, it was a red car, almost hit a black Jeep. The black Jeep was standing at the corner to make a turn onto 261st from the Spencer Avenue northern part. The red car just came straight through on 261st without stopping.
Thank you for letting us know. We have Deborah, your hand is raised also.
Thank you. I have emailed the board on my ongoing issue with Broadway in the southern part of the district. Farah Rubin responded to me a very nice note today, and I appreciate that very much. I'd like to also appreciate you all because there was no ADA access to the Broadway Bridge previously, and that finally, after about a year of being no ADA access, they did a curb cut. So that is one huge improvement, I think, for a lot of people, not just people, disabled folks, but a lot of folks with strollers and carts also are appreciative of having that curb cut. And yet, Broadway is so bad right now. The bridge is so bad, and underneath, like whether they're doing construction, is so bad. Uh, I don't know who exactly is in charge of fixing the Broadway Bridge, but I don't understand why they can't do a sidewalk on both sides of the road. There is so much volume. There's just as much foot traffic volume at certain times of day as there are car volume, especially because we have a couple new charter schools that opened up in Inwood, and they seem to cater. There seems to be a lot of kids from Bronx 8 who come into Inwood to go to the charter schools, to go to Zeta Charter School, Amber Charter School. And a lot of those folks, there's just not space in our streets to drive. They walk across the bridge. There's not space. It's like wall to wall people. And because the roadway is so bad, like the cyclists are they don't want to be dead either. They're not cutting everyone off. It's just crowded. People hauling their carts. I do this myself. Like when I do a big shop at BJ's, I have my cart and I bring it with me. I'm taking up a lot of space. There's not physically enough room for the pedestrians who go back and forth between that part of Kingsbridge, Marble Hill, and Inwood. There's just not enough space. There's no other place to get between Kingsbridge and Inwood either, because on 207th Street, which is the next closest bridge to the retail stuff, that bridge has only ever had a sidewalk on one side of the road. It's way out of the way. And so like Broadway Bridge is it. And it is like our communities have been cut off a very long time. When they first proposed this Broadway Bridge reconstruction, they said they'd be totally done by 2027. And now it's creeped back to 2029 without any real explanation as to why. I could hazard a guess. I never see them actually working on this bridge. Like I see them working like maybe once a month, but otherwise they shut down our roadways. Occasionally you'll know they're working because they'll use those cones, they'll block off an extra lane of traffic so they can park their cars because they're too good, I guess, to take mass transit with the rest of us, which is very frustrating because the pedestrians who are there literally living in the community every day have no space. I can't bike through Bronx 8 anymore because it's so stressful getting across that bridge. My daughter has to, and my son both have to cross that bridge every day. We live in Park Terrace. My one kid goes to a school on the JFK campus, so she goes into Marble Hill. My other kid goes to the HSAS Lehman, which is up on the Jerome Reservoir. They are both back and forth that bridge twice a day. It is very stressful. There's chaos. It's very loud. That sometimes they're closing down the crosswalks. Sometimes there's a police officer there. Often there's not a police officer there. If they're going to do that kind of chaos with all those school kids going back and forth, they need to have a police officer. And also the cars there, I know drivers are not speeding, there's no space to speed, but it is very confusing because they have, okay, this side's blocked off and then that side's blocked off, and then there's a delivery guy double parked, and now there's like a backup. And then sometimes they shut it down so there's only a single lane of traffic heading southbound, and it's kind of random the times they do this. It feels like there's no respect or notification for the neighborhood. I wish, like, there's this guy Alberto something that sometimes comes to Manhattan 12 from MTA to give us updates. He should be here with you guys giving updates. Like, this is so disruptive to the community. Like, don't you guys I'm not being accusatory. I'm just like ranting here because it's like a daily dose of frenetic chaos. Thank you.
I hear your frustration, and we're frustrated too, because we have, as a committee, not just, the traffic and transportation, but the screen committee, safety committee, different committees have reached out to our local officials about our frustration about services, thereof the lack of services and the lack of response. Because I can tell you, they sent me literally an email that really doesn't address the safety concerns of people who have to live, walk, bike over these different bridges and roadways. It doesn't. They have this last thing: how are we keeping you safe? They're keeping their contractors safe. What they should say is keeping up contractors safe, because this has nothing to do with people who are driving, people who are biking, people who are walking. It does not. It really talks about safety of the contractors. So that's what they sent to the office. And I know Ms. Sanchez has been Mr. Assembly Denowitz's office. We're trying to arrange a meeting to really talk about and walk through so they can see it and feel it and live it. It's really hard to pin down some of these agencies, especially DOT and some of the other ones, especially if there's press involved, because then they say they can't because the press is there. I absolutely agree with you that it's been frustrating, and we're frustrated that we see it and we write them and there's a lack of response. And I agree, there is a lack of disrespect.
If I may, all of this lies within Councilwoman De La Rosa's territory on both sides. I think a big part of the problem here is that MTA is doing the work on the subway, of course, on the elevated subway, one train. And DOT is responsible for the streets. And I think you have to get DOT and MTA in the same room at the same time to address this issue. And it's really got to be the councilwoman who makes this happen. But until we get them both together.
Wait, is there a third agency in charge of the bridge? Is the bridge MTA, or is the bridge MTA also?
Yeah, it's MTA, but DOT has a piece of this also. So there's overlap in certain agencies with certain projects.
Yeah, because all of the traffic going over the bridge, on both sides of the bridge itself is MTA, but the street traffic is DOT. And that's what complicates things.
And then you're getting the police department involved to help with some of the other issues.
And then sanitation just shrugs and doesn't do anything about all of the trash, because it's all barricades for MTA, right? And we just leave trash just piled up inside the barricades, outside the barricades. Anything goes. There's no protection of the vehicles. Kids could walk right up to a massive boom truck. There's literally nothing in between them. We've written, Councilwoman Sanchez got back to us today. We're trying to push for a meeting. I mean, at this point, we were just reaching out to Councilwoman Sanchez and Councilmember Dinowitz. We haven't talked with De La Rosa's office,
Mhm.
but considering what is going on at the bridge, and there's also a notification May 18th. I mean, it's going to be 10 times more than what they've been doing. So it's going to be a long several weeks, months.
Months.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're really not taking any community considerations whatsoever.
Or proactive responsibility.
Yeah.
I appreciate your attention to that. I would also say, like, I would appreciate, like, my kids, like, if like their principals were getting notifications too. So or this, I can't be the only parent. Maybe I'm the nerdiest parent because I like coming to community board meetings, but I can't be the only parent who's just like, oh my God.
Have you been in touch with the councilwoman, because Councilwoman De La Rosa, who
so-
represents your area?
Yes, I did talk to I have Carmen's office. They are all beside themselves with the charter schools and the traffic from the charter schools, because on the other side, like where TEP is, their charter school is there on like 219th and kind of between east of Broadway. That's where all the MTA buses come out from the Kingsbridge Depot, and so the traffic there and the conflicts with, why your buses are late going north? I'll tell you why. It's the traffic from the charter school. And so Carmen's office has tried to go to the charter schools and say, like, hey, can you do something? And they're like, oh, you're a city councilwoman? Like, you have no standing here. Come back to us when you've got some state representatives behind you. So, Robert Jackson, he's on all the right stuff. I actually think Robert's new district lines come and circle part of Bronx 8 too. So I think Kingsbridge is him also. He's on all the right stuff to try to regulate the traffic stuff. Manny De La Rosa is the assemblyman up in this part of town. He's also it doesn't I there's like some sort of gridlock. There needs to be like, one person to rule them all, because everyone's like, oh, it's not me. It's like they pass you around from agency to agency. So I'm not sure how to cut through the chaos. I would love it if we could cut through the chaos, because it's, it's not like they never have had to do street work on an MTA above ground facility before. I mean, this happens all over the New York City. It's like, why every single little district has to reinvent the wheel? Like, why we should have something more inclusive. I don't know if Mom Donnie is being new. Maybe Mike Flynn has some ideas, and he can coordinate with his Jano Lieber or whoever you talk to in charge of the subway specifically. But I mean, the frustration is real, and getting passed around is real. And yes.
Well, we know it's real because we get passed around.
I mean, if parents are interested in making some sort of press-worthy statement, or perhaps there's some sort of community visual that can be presented, perhaps we need to walk across the bridge or something like that, because I ride, travel across that bridge too, and it's crazy.
I was actually
that seems to be sometimes the only thing that works, is to get the press involved and to
shame them,
into action.
The right thing.
Yeah.
Bob Bender. So I was actually talking to the Greenways folks today, and like they were suggesting perhaps somebody from the Empire Trails State Trail system could bring attention, because this is supposed to be the connector roadway for this really big, wonderful 750-mile long like Empire Trail system, and maybe they would help coordinate, but I don't know. I just want it fixed. I don't.
Allegra, that was nice of them, but that's the least likely way that you're going to accomplish any success.
The bottom line is coordination of city services. It's each city's service coordinating how they are doing these different projects and being mindful of the people that they're impacting. It's the same thing dealing with, DOT and Con Edison, you know? One person is ripping up the street, the other person is doing, it's the same thing. It's that type of, you know, do unto others what you have done to you. And that's honestly how I feel. So we could spend all night on this, but we can't. Sylvia has her hand up, and then we're gonna vote on our capital budget. So we can move on to expense. Sylvia? Sorry.
Yeah, what I have to say is that I have a business on 218th Street, and that's right next to the Zeta Charter School. The principal of that school will not listen to anyone. There are two businesses on that street. They cannot conduct the business in the morning when arrival and dismissal. They finally closed the street, and the 34th precinct has somebody there. It is a unbelievable situation. I really think that Community Board 12 has to also get involved, because that part of Inwood is in Community Board 12. And something, maybe if the community boards work together, maybe something could come out of this that it would alleviate some of the problems. It is a disaster.
So
And
if you want
at dismissal, at dismissal, the traffic that goes north on the bridge is unbelievable. You get stuck in there, you're there for hours.
I would
So-
say come join me. Community Board 12 traffic is first Mondays at 7. I will send yeah, come with me, because I feel like it's just me and this one other guy from the community always like, it's crazy, can you please help? And the Community Board 12 might benefit from a collaboration with Bronx 8 on how to squeeze the city agencies. Yes.
Good idea. Thank you. Okay, so, just back on the capital budget priorities, anything additional? We're okay with this to submit? It doesn't mean our list will,
I'm sorry, did you say the
Yeah.
capital?
yes, capital, yes.
I mean, I think,
They're not gonna, you know,
yeah, but just to move up my 2 cents is to move up the resurfacing of 230th. I mean, it's kind of,
230th is number 2.
oh, I see, it's the numbers.
Yeah, I numbered it.
Oh, okay.
Because we had it, and then I just moved up resurfacing 230th to number 2, DOT safety improvement, resurfacing paving 3900 and 3902 to number 3.
Okay, I was
And I
looking at the
moved
wrong
up.
one, too.
Yeah, so I moved, and then I put some of the step streets because we've been there already. So I moved up played around with the numbers based on what I saw, that was emailed to me by, community members. Because some of the roads were just, I don't know how they're driving on.
My one thing would be to prioritize either one of the 2 step streets that were 1 and 2 last year, rather than the 230th number 4.
To move 230th to number 1.
No, like, we have, oh, I see, that is number 1,
Yeah.
238.
Because that one's in bad shape.
Yeah,
It's in bad shape.
yeah.
But then
I
that-
guess,
Go ahead.
so then number 2 is the 230th between Broadway.
Yeah,
Then the Manhattan College one.
those
Interesting.
pictures are really bad.
You know, I'll tell you, I know that street well. It's not a problem driving on that street, it's a problem parking on that street. Because there's 2 different surfaces there, asphalt and concrete,
Yeah,
and the driving takes place on the concrete, and it's really not a problem. But the
Mine's-
parking lanes are the asphalt, and they're full of potholes, especially on the north side. But I honestly would not put that ahead, excuse me, of some of the step streets.
I agree.
And it's a small area we're talking about.
So maybe move that to number, put it to number 9?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I think the 230, what is now number 5,
Number
putting
5.
that to either 1 or 2. And then,
No, wait, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble figuring out the
oh, I'm
numbers
so
here.
sorry.
There's 2 number 5s that I'm seeing. 230th from
I'm
Johnson
sorry,
to Irwin.
scratch what I just said. The
And-
number 2, the
Yeah,
number
right,
1, number 2, and then number 3 potentially could be the 230th and Sedgwick Kingsbridge Step Street, rather than putting that at 8.
So make number 8 number 3,
Yeah,
and make number 3 number 8,
mm-hmm.
and then I'll fix my numbers, because there's two numbers.
Well, and you guys are talking about number 8 and oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it now.
I'm sorry, Bob.
231st. It's number 8, okay. So I got lost. Where are we now?
She's gonna swap,
3 with 8,
uh-huh.
make 3 8 and 8 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll fix my numbers.
Okay, so number 1 remains the 238 Step Street, Waldo to Irwin.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2 is the 230th.
Broadway.
Okay. And number 3 is now the 231st and Sedgwick Kingsbridge
Mhm.
Street.
Mhm.
Okay. Also good. And 4 is 230th Edge Hill to Johnson. That street. That's correct.
Mhm.
Right. You know, after number 5, it's not even going to show up on.
Oh, I know that.
Board.
They're not even gonna,
But
I know that.
there are 2 number 5s here. Which number 5?
I'll adjust the numbers.
Okay. So it's probably doing 230 from Johnson to Irwin, that street, or are we doing the sliding around the reservoir?
The 230th, oh, that's a new one.
That's a new one. Johnson to Irwin.
They're not gonna do,
That
they're not gonna do all
Is
these.
that the one, that like small, narrow staircase?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, not Ewing Park,
Yeah,
but a little farther up the hill towards
Yeah.
Johnson. I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, I've never walked up that staircase in my life, so
I
I
have.
don't know. Okay.
Lisa,
But-
just make it number 10 then, the last one?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll adjust the numbers. Last.
The reservoir we're always hearing about,
mm,
it comes up at the Parks Committee meeting, it comes up at the.
That's why I added, and they're new.
Environmental Sanitation
And
Yeah.
that's why I made it, they're new.
yeah,
Committee.
I'm glad you captured that, thank you.
Okay, so I will just,
Mhm.
I know that it's a wish list.
Yeah,
Right.
Santa can't give me everything.
but we're on the record for asking.
Right.
So, Sylvia, you're okay with, what we just did?
Yes,
Okay, all right, so I'll make the adjustments, and I know I have to turn this into the office by
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Nothing like a deadline.
You know, the dog ate the whole one. Okay, so let's go to, what's the next one? Expense. I know they're not gonna go for any of these, but they're all brand new,
Well, they're all worthwhile.
and I know
Suggestions.
you sent the email that, number 3,
Yeah.
but you wanna know something?
Mhm.
I don't have hope
Well,
that.
no, I understand. You know,
I know we had our meeting on with DOT
Right,
on
with the
the
commissioner.
on the 8th and the commissioner, but I still believe there still needs to be a study. I think whatever they said they're gonna do and what they're actually gonna do,
well,
I don't think it's gonna happen.
that I totally agree with. I mean, what she said was we can look into loading zones.
Yeah, I have it right
on the valley. You were on that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that remains to be seen.
Correct.
Yeah. So
I have no.
I think it's worth keeping it on. You're
I'm
right.
keeping it.
I agree with you.
Anything you want to add on for expense? This is basically only for. I mean, and last year, they entertained nothing.
Yeah.
Even if we asked for like, water, a water jug, no, nothing. They entertained. It's
Agency supports water jugs,
Jugs.
but cannot approve it at this time. Well, in terms of the safe crossing, one of the things, I don't know how we can do this across the Bronx. I know that's not our scope. But there are no dotted or solid lines in any of the streets. Like, what is the problem? Why can't we mark our streets from the Deegan to like 230th to, like people come and they're like, how can you
Across the
see
street.
at night and know which side is oncoming and which side is yours? Like, how do you know which is a lane? You don't.
You don't.
That's also part of the special sauce, but it's
You talk about
so
safety.
crazy. Yeah.
That's basic safety.
Yeah.
So do we want to? I think we added that on there.
Yeah. So like the safe crossing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Sylvia, anything you'd like to add?
Nope.
All right, so that's it for expense. I will freshen up the numbers and give it to Sarah tomorrow morning. Okay, so next on the agenda is the Assembly Member William Cotton's request for a letter of support.
Yeah, we talked about this at the April meeting. Nobody has any problems with it.
Oh, okay.
And amazingly, the legislature is still in session. Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason not to support this. I mean, all it does is say when they're going to, this doesn't have to do with the bus driver calls in sick one day and so they cancel a bus. This has to do with when they change a route, and they decide, okay, well, this bus is now going to go to a different stop, or trains. Subway rarely change, although sometimes it does. And, it just says they have to notify the community board as well as the local officials, and it seems absolutely common sense.
And they can put it on a social media page.
Yeah. So, if he wants a letter from the community board, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't do it. Let's see, what exactly? I guess we're voting on sending
A letter
a
of
letter of
support.
support to the assembly
Assemblyman.
for this bill. Yeah. I'm in favor.
Okay.
Sylvia, did you get it? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, Sylvia, I'm sorry. We were ready to vote on a letter of support, notifying, the public of any change in bus or train route.
Well, notifying the community board.
And notifying the community board
Right.
about any such changes. You're okay with the letter of support?
Sylvia?
Yes. I don't understand. Who is the letter of support for?
It's the William Colton bill. It's a bill putting NTA notice and informing community boards if there's changes in buses and train routes, so people know when there's a change,
They would have to give us 30 days.
30-day notice.
Yeah.
Because often MTA knows that they're gonna make a change as such, and they just, they don't tell the public to the last minute. So this is informing the community board, so we know, along with, their notice with, MTA.
How do the other members feel about that support letter? I have no information on that other than what you just said. So,
Oh, no, we had it at our last two meetings.
Yeah. We did discuss it.
I'll go along with the other three.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So all in favor? Yes.
Yeah.
This Let's go on to the next order of business. Okay, we have new business and concerns. Is there anyone, we have a letter from the traffic and buses on Snake Hill Road and West 252nd Street. I know that they're concerned. Let's see. Okay. The letter states that there are several substantial concerns of the roadway not being safe. Requesting, if possible, speed bumps. It's a lot of requests. They have a lot of the cars and school buses on Horseman merge and make a right turn onto 252nd Street at full speed from Tibbetts Avenue with no regard to the traffic on 252nd going straight. The amount of bus traffic coming from Horseman onto Push Road causing unnecessary traffic jams and potential pollution. And then the third thing, allowing Riverdale Country Day School to double park its school buses on Fieldston Road just north of 253rd Street, impacting traffic flow on heavily traveled road. And 4, allowing vehicular parking on and along portions of 253rd Street, which is already narrow. I'm hoping that the community board can look into these items. It is chaotic, to say the least. I don't know necessarily if this is a DOT, MTA. It's more traffic, more safety committee. We could I could reach out to the safety committee. I don't know necessarily.
No, it's really a TNT issue.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, the road, I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. 253rd Street is, let's see, let me get my directions straight. It goes up there, so it's so hard to know. It's so hard to know which direction we're talking about. All right, so Fieldston runs basically north-south. No, Fieldston is basically north-south,
Right.
but 253rd is essentially east-west, exactly. And on the part that's between Fieldston and Riverdale Avenue, that's where you can get on and off the Henry Hudson.
Correct.
Right.
I know where that is.
The other part to the south is a really bizarre road. It curves around. It has no lights, no street lights. Never walk there at night. Never. It has no sidewalk. So, it's not that people choose to walk in the street. They can only walk in the street. So it's a truly dangerous street. And part of the complaint is that, trucks are using that street, and it's not wide enough, for
The
trucks to
street?
be on that street.
But how do they do deliveries to the school?
Well, that's part of the issue, you know, how do you do, it's the Riverdale Country. You know, now, I mean, you can also deliver to Riverdale Country on Fieldston Road. I don't think you have to go only on 253rd, but, you know, there should be a way to work that out with the school.
So what we
Because-
could do is ask DOT to do a study.
Yeah, or I think we need to more fully engage with, Riverdale
Schools.
Country and Horace Mann. And Farah did say that, she's reached out to Horace Mann, but she needs to follow up with both of the schools. But they're a big part of the problem, especially this complaint about what somebody calls a caravan of school buses coming from Horace Mann, which blocks all the other traffic. There must be some way to stagger the buses. You know, I mean, I know Horace Mann and most of the kids don't live in the community. They come from all over the city, Manhattan and Bronx anyway. There must be a way to stagger the school buses so they're not all going out at one time.
If they're looking for a speed bump, the other traffic issue is speed bumps. There are none.
They don't put that
Post
on post, I
Road.
believe, yeah.
There are none. On Post Road between 251st Street and Lakewood Place. However, on every surrounding residential street, all of Fieldston and North Post Road, there are speed bumps to stop vehicles from speeding on the streets lined with homes and families. When cars turn to West 251st Street, they sometimes act as though there's a raceway. Well, it's
That's a problem we have throughout the entire district.
Mhm.
People driving too fast, yeah,
Mhm.
breaking the speed limit, yeah, constant, everywhere. That's not unique to that area. You know, I mean, asking for speed bumps is some, you know, that's a reasonable request.
reasonable request, we can ask.
Yeah.
That's-
DOT to look into it.
That's one of the things I was thinking about for that woman who spoke earlier about Spencer and 261st. If potentially that might be an option, because if cars are using that street to get from Broadway to Riverdale and vice versa, coming off of the Henry Hudson, escaping to the Henry Hudson, doing all sorts of shady business, maybe some speed bumps
And Spencer?
on 261st.
Well, that's already being studied. It's already being
But
studied.
I thought I thought the Broadway portion was being studied, or you think it extends that far?
It extends that far.
Okay, all the way up to 61st?
I live
Oh,
very
nice.
close to there. I live between 259th and what would be 260th, that street. There are no speed bumps on any of the streets in North Riverdale. Part of the problem is the streets are narrow
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, two cars passing each other right now is hard enough. If you get two SUVs, quite honestly, you can't pass. Somebody's got to pull into a driveway or a hydrant, let the other car pass. Speed bump might be, might create a risk factor.
Well, we have the same thing on Greystone. It's the same thing. We have 2 speed bumps, but people still haul it.
Yeah.
Right by the school.
Yeah, no, I know exactly where they are, yeah.
So we will ask for a speed bump, let them do a
So
study.
ask them to do a study, yeah. I don't know, I mean, I know the intersection and I'm sure the concerns are real, but you could say that at almost any intersection in North Riverdale. I know 259th in Spencer, she's on 261st, there's a dead end in between. You can't go down Spencer. There's a dead end at 260th, which you mentioned, but I know at 259th in Spencer, there have been accidents. I remember seeing one this last summer. The problem is people run the stop sign. That's the problem.
Do they see it?
The stop signs are visible, but, somebody slows down from 30 to 20 and goes through the intersection.
It is hard.
It's a real problem.
Yeah, but I agree that there are visibility issues, because even with the cars parked, appropriately along the side of the road, if you're coming from one of the perpendicular streets and there's an
You can see-
SUV, it's hard to see
That
oncoming
is true.
traffic.
That is true, absolutely. And very few of those streets are perfect 90-degree
Mhm.
angles. Many of them, you know, there's an
A dip
angle,
or-
or, yeah, there's one way or the other, and the intersection is not visible if the cars are parked right at the intersection, which they often are.
So we
But
could.
getting back to, 253rd and that whole area, I think, let's ask DOT to look into the request for the speed bumps.
Speed bump.
I don't know what you do though about that street, 253rd between Fieldston and Post, because it's just, it's horrible. It does curve, there's no sidewalk and there's no lights. I mean,
Yeah. I wonder how much it would be to put a light.
I think people have been wanting that because I think in that stretch, what is the street that runs along the back of the school? It's
Down below?
it's perpendicular to Snake.
it's Post Road, that's Post Road down.
Oh, Post Road.
Yeah.
I think people have been wanting that because all sorts of shady stuff goes on there because you had that big retaining wall.
Mhm.
It's a little sleepy over there.
Exactly, that's part of the problem, it's quiet, that the road they call Snake Road, there's, people don't park there, there's nothing there. And you get down to the end of Post Road, the north end of Post Road, where the only thing you can do is go up to 53rd Street, and it's very quiet, and yeah, that's the problem.
So lighting,
Yeah, lighting, maybe lighting
Lighting
would help, possibility, that's DOT also. It's DOT.
Sylvia, do you have anything to add about Snake Hill?
No.
While we're on the topic of Riverdale Country and Horace Mann, I don't know where this would fall under, but since we're talking about it, they have all the Uber drivers that line up in the neighborhood and they just sit there and idle for 20, 30, 40 minutes.
Oh, I don't know, where is it?
I'm so terrible with this street, but coming up from Manhattan College, there's that intersection that splits off to the gym as a hard right.
Okay,
The street
yeah.
that goes up
That's
further towards.
Waldo. That's Waldo.
That's
That goes up where you go past the nursing home.
Yes.
Methodist home.
Yes, yeah,
Okay. And
that's
then you
right.
have the right. And
Yeah, so when you go up Waldo, continuing as if you're going to the Horace Mann fields, the field hockey field
Yeah,
and everything.
okay.
They all just line up there. So it's like 15, 20 cars every day. And they all just sit there and idle. And I've asked the Horace Mann guys, like, all these cars are just idling. You're not going to tell them to stop?
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know.
I don't know, is
if
that
they can.
enforcement?
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, it's illegal in the city to idle more than 3 minutes?
Yeah.
And it's just polluting the whole
So
neighborhood.
they're picking up kids.
Yeah. Yeah, those are schools that cost a lot of money. People have money. I see kids showing up in cars that are expensive cars. Other kids arrive by Uber, as you said, or leave by Uber. Yeah, that's a problem.
So
But I
let's,
didn't look at that.
all right, so we'll address this with, let them do a study, ask for speed bumps, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, we have another letter. This is from the fire department, and it's regarding, city bike lanes, in accordance with the stipulations set forth of the law as applied, the fire department has conferred with affected firehouses nearby submitting a safety concern regarding Sedgwick Avenue from 183rd Street to Fordham Road, from a two-way street to a one-way street. This would adversely impact response areas on Sedgwick Avenue is the main route for their responses that head north. So that would affect people in our district. I know last year I wrote a resolution indicating that, that some of these, bike lanes and also city bike where it lands and big turns, and we were sure there would be no issue. And now the fire department is, very concerned that it's going to impact, response time. And that's a public safety, problem.
It shouldn't, the geography leaves me wondering about this. I mean, it's clearly a problem south of Community Board, which is where this is mostly happening. We have a firehouse on Bailey and 230th, which is in Community Board 8. That's not affected by this decision to change the street from 2-way to 1-way. That's south of us. Now, I suppose, if the fire was big enough and they needed to call another firehouse,
correct.
that could be a problem.
But that firehouse on 230th and Bailey have expressed concerns about, the decrease in the lane and making the turn and so on and so forth. So that's not,
No, I understand that, yeah.
So I know they've been in contact with DOT and they're, trying to, they've expressed their concern, but they wanted us also to know to bring this up at our meeting. And of course, fire safety is important. If someone's having a heart attack, sometimes the fire department also, they also, EMS is also, is part of that. So, any decisions, that they have to try to mitigate, this issue on for. If they have to, evaluate not making it a one-way, on Bailey Avenue.
Yeah, but again, that's not an EDA.
Yeah, but it is such a good idea. Because that, speaking of trying to get two cars past, forget it.
You can't.
No.
So, this can impact us.
That's an issue that belongs on the agenda of public safety as much as it does.
Oh, they emailed both of us.
Okay.
Yeah, they sent it to both of us. So I said I would, bring this up.
I mentioned it to Ed Green and, at his next public safety meeting. One more.
Sylvia, would you like to add anything?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm wondering if you're going to bring up anything about Bailey and the meeting on Friday, what I attended on Zoom. Anything new on that?
No, just a couple of things that Bob mentioned.
No, I mean,
They're gonna take a look at it. Some
Right.
things are not finished.
yeah,
They're gonna take some community concerns.
we talked about it a little bit earlier, Sylvia. The DOT commissioner was very responsive on the Zoom and said she understood the problem that the merchants are having, especially farther down Bailey Avenue, where there's double parking. They have to double park for deliveries and that sort of thing. And very often there already are vehicles double parked outside of the stores. And the commissioner said she would look into loading zones. She said, it would be possible to set up loading zones.
I know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So,
DOT has a habit of promising the world and not giving it. So I wondered if there was anything new.
No, unfortunately, there's nothing new. So that's why we also kept it as part of one of our capital evaluations for our district, because we know that, sometimes people say one thing and what they actually do is something a little bit different. I'm trying to be polite.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, I mean,
So
Sylvia,
we
you're
have to
right.
wait and see.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And we'll have to stay in touch with DOT and, yeah,
That's the only way.
right.
And the businesses, I wasn't able to get to them like right now, but I will between now and next week sometime. And because I do need a translator, because a lot of those business owners, their
Right.
primary language is Spanish, and
Yeah.
my Spanish is not strong enough to really engage on that type of level. To be honest with you. So we still have some things on our end that we need to do. And they need to follow up on some things that are on Van Cortlandt Park. They haven't gotten back to us with that. And following up on the existing northbound Deegan, the turning lane on the right side, to follow up with that. And I believe she said they were still working on the road markings, the markings.
Mhm. No, I mean, I thought it was a good meeting, but, yeah, we have to make sure that all the things we discussed actually happen.
They follow through.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it with the DOT. Alright. I think we covered everything.
Well,
Oh.
I was just gonna ask, as a follow-up, to the woman who spoke and, the notice that we got about the Broadway corridor, I mean, whatever their work starts to look like after May 18th, I mean, should we write another letter? Hopefully we're gonna get a meeting with some of our council members, but should we write a letter to our state senator, assembly member, our council members, DOT, like put everyone on notice? I'm just guessing that it's just gonna be it's gonna be a real
Yes.
hot mess, even more so than it has been.
What's missing? What's May 18th?
That's when they're starting, probably moving different aspects of access on the road. This is more of the MTA. They're gonna
Oh,
start in earnest,
Okay.
along the corridor, various parts of the corridor.
Yeah.
I guess it's preemptive in some way, but you all have a sense of anything we can do. I guess we can see how it goes. And then essentially write something for our June
Meeting,
meeting.
see if people complain.
Yeah, and what the implementation really looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get the attention of the elected officials in advance of something.
Yeah.
And once people are out there saying this is a mess, this is a disaster,
Yeah.
then, yeah.
I mean, in same thing with City Bike and 238th Street. We knew that it was gonna be, an issue, but, their grid of what they have already planned,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how much, we raise or kick sand,
Yeah.
they're gonna stick to
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
have.
So the one other thing I did want to mention was, we have this list of schools where, they're reducing the speed, around the schools from 20 miles an hour to 15 miles an hour. And there are a lot of streets involved in Community Board 8, but it's not all schools, it's not all streets. And I'm curious about how they made the decision about, I presume they didn't just, flip coins to figure this out.
You don't know that.
Well, I said I'm presuming. So there must have been some rationale for why, this particular street at this school, or, some schools, I think there are some schools where there actually isn't any change. We should try to find out from DOT, I think,
How do
before.
they determine the
They
speed?
didn't wanna reset the traffic lights.
I don't know. All I know is that
I
when
wouldn't be
people find out,
surprised.
here's what's going to happen. When people find out they're getting speeding tickets
Yes.
for,
Yeah.
going 20 miles an hour on certain streets, all hell is going to break
Yeah.
loose.
Yeah.
So we should try to be ahead of it and and I think, you know, we really need to post this information.
Mhm.
I
Because
think, was it,
I don't,
Julie said she was gonna prove it. If we post it on our website.
okay, I didn't remember that. I did raise that question.
I think it was a yes.
Okay.
But you know what?
Mhm.
There's a lot of,
Yeah, I mean, there's so many emails. You may be right, and I never saw the email. But I think we really should make people aware ahead of time of which streets are now going to be.
it would be nice to have to hand out the fare on our table.
Oh.
On our table.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, Farrah will be happy to hear that. Got one more day to on Sunday.
No, but I'm serious. I mean,
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, Debbie.
to hand out, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Because if not,
Yes, I mean, there's two issues there. We really need to make sure that the community knows this is coming. And we should find out from DOT what the methodology was behind choosing certain schools and certain streets.
then that'd be, I can just imagine how they determine, probably to say density, traffic density.
I mean, presumably maybe there, you know, accidents have happened on certain streets. I don't know.
I don't know, because I saw that car flipped over at 256 in Riverdale Avenue after they told me no. And I was like, it's safe?
Right.
I still can't figure out how this car flipped over.
Yeah.
Any other
No.
issues? Okay, so for the next meeting, how did they determine?
Yeah, we did have the information by then. And also, I think more follow-up with Fairfield Country and Park and you know, school buses and what can be done to
Seems like
some of the traffic there.
And I'm on the public safety committee, so I can bring up the conversation about the camera at Spencer and 261st, and if there's anything else that NYPD can do.
And this copy of the fire department.
Oh, yeah, and that too, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, and the single application, Kingsford Big Block Party Day.
Right, but then,
Okay.
again, that's an August,
August.
it could still come next month.
Because I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Sylvia, you have any questions? There's no one
Nope.
for the public?
I guess we can forget about my issue on 235th in Oxford.
Oh, they studied it.
And
The answer is they don't see a need for any additional measures there.
they're not going to do anything
Not gonna do anything. That was a nice way of saying they're not gonna do anything.
until
They don't
somebody else
say-
gets killed.
Well, I
And it
had the
might
same
be me.
feeling about. Oh, please don't say that. That's how I felt about 256 in Riverdale, and they told me no, and then the following day, something happened, so.
Because it is, you know, if anybody of you other members of the TNT, if you have just a few minutes sometime, just go to that corner and see how many cars go through the stop sign at high speeds.
I
Without
know it very well
stopping.
because, I know it very well, Sylvia, because they usually stop at the key to this at 235th well, I guess it's not 235th. Yeah, it is 235th in Oxford. And yeah, I mean, it's not unique to that corner. That's all I can say. I mean, as far as running stop signs, we were talking
But
about that.
somebody got
earlier.
killed there, Bob.
No, I understand. I hear you, Sylvia.
It's
And
going to
I
happen
understand
again
Mhm.
because nobody's doing anything about it. And DOT was not going to do it.
No,
I have no faith in them whatsoever.
We almost need an interesting intervention, like the roadway lights up or something when you get near a stop sign or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that exists somewhere.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
it seems way out.
And
But
and the traffic there is quite significant, both pedestrian wise and cars. So, it makes no sense whatsoever
we
when they
agree.
say they don't have any way of fixing it.
I agree. Like, I think that there should be a turning
And
lane.
I've been doing it for 3 years now. And it doesn't matter because it comes before us and it goes away. And then I bring it up again and they say, oh, we're going to look into it. And they do, and they come back and they say, no problem. So, how do you deal with that?
You gotta keep plugging along. You gotta keep trying and be optimistic and just keep trying. That's the only way to
Well,
do
all I
this.
can say is that the Bronx commissioner of DOT came to most of the meetings of TNT and always stayed for the meeting, and they worked with us. Sometimes they said they couldn't do anything, but most of the time they were negotiating with us, and a lot of things were changed. And with this one, it's either his way or the highway, and that is not good for Community Board 8.
No,
We
for
have a
any
lot of
community.
elderly people with walkers, and strollers, and everything else, and what they put in does not work. And how they can say that there's no problem there now, it's amazing. I'm not angry at you or anything like that. I know
No.
that you're doing the best you can, but it doesn't make any sense.
We agree.
you keep bringing it up, that's all we can do.
That's all we can do. All right, with that being said, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
And the elected officials don't help either.
No. Nope.
They're younger, so they can get across the street before somebody hits them. The older people can't, nor the children. I'm sorry, I'm going on with the beating a dead horse. Sorry.
No,
That's all right.
You're upset, Sylvia, you have a right to be
You have a right to
upset.
be. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to have potholes. It's frustrating to have no lights in the district. It's frustrating to have garbage. It's frustrating to see that they have a lane closed and you don't know how you're going to make a right or a left or how to cross the street. It's frustrating.
I know, but they are not frustrated because they have one answer for everything, and that's no.
Well, yeah, they have a cookie cutter answer. That's what I call it.
Mhm.
All right, so
All right,
thank you
well,
everybody
yeah.
for your participation, and now make sure to have our capital and other expense reports sent to the office.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Sylvia.
Okay,
Right.
thanks for listening to me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Are you sure you want to stop recording? Yeah.